So I was tagged by Feedmechicken, as I call him, Alfred, because Alfred Chicken, the platform game with a chicken in it, and James, JediBUZ, busubi, I think that's your name. I can never remember it, and I'm rubbish at names, I am, but it would be easier if it was busubi. You remember the telephone out of, before BT, the little red telephone with the, I think it was an owl, or something like that. It goes back ages and ages ago, before like Mercury and BT. Anyway, we're not on about phones. It's a VR, and it's a VR question. Your 5 games that you keep going back to, and I've had loads of, well, about a year to think of this one. I'll keep promising Feedmechicken I owe you a video when it comes up in the comments and everything, and just haven't got around to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 10, because 10 games, there was 2 of them and they both picked 10. Well, it'll be 10 between them, 5 each. So I'm going to do 5, and it's a list that I probably would change like here and there, and it's because you got, it's confusing because it ain't your 5 favourite games, it's the games that you keep going back to. And that's what makes it difficult, you know, for me to choose, because they are my favourites. There's plenty of nostalgia and the music in them as well. And that's why I keep going back to them, especially with the Amiga. The Amiga's like sound chip. You know, you can load up a game and just listen to the music, just, you know, doing your housework or whatever you want to do. It is just, anyway, I'll try my best and try and give information about these. So the first one, I mean, there are no order. Don't think it's my top 1 or top 2 or whatever. No, I'm just, there's a pile there that I'm just going to have a look and and say. So first one is Coronus on the ZX Spectrum. The reason why I go back to this is because I like shoot 'em up games, and it's one of the first ones that I loaded, and I thought, you know what, you know, it's similar to R-Type because it's horizontal, not vertical, horizontal. And when you play it, you got power-ups, and it's kind of funny because when you go through the game, it says like "Hello, Mum," and when I was playing it, it's like "Hello, Mum" when I was playing it, and it's like, look, this is saying hello to you. And the levels are quite samey, but you get different like enemies that come at you, and it's just one of them games. And I'll probably say this quite a lot: a pick up and play game. And I was good at it. I never completed it, which is annoying. I think I've got to like one of the later levels on it, but it was so like difficult. But the good thing is you can have auto fire on and keep firing, so you don't have to keep firing and tapping the button all the time and knacker your hands out, that would. But the music, and I'm trying to remember the musician in the game, because he'd done the same music to Agent X as well, and it's 48k, so that music in that game, not a 128k game, it's just, again, it's mind-blowing for its time on the ZX Spectrum. So Coronus is going to be one of them. It will, as I said, it's just a pick up and play game that's just, I will go back to, I will. And the other one is Sidewise, and I love that purple artwork on that cover. I do. Again, it's like a vertical shoot 'em up, and I think, wasn't there another one on the arcade? I can't remember if this was on the arcade. It says ultimate shoot 'em up, incredible weapons pickup systems. Where are we? Arcade action. I don't remember if it's been on the arcades, and it's, I should have said about that one, it's Mastertronics Coronus, and this one's by Firebird. And you know, when you see it like that and you see that purple like that, it's just like, you know, play me. And it's you know, the screenshots are on the on the back. And again, it's just another game you can sort of learn the patterns of the enemies and you get good at it. And then with this one, you've got different worlds you can go round and choose. And again, it's like double tap, well, auto fire, or hold down the fire button so you don't break your fingers playing it. But it was just like, that's the trouble. It's like favourite, and then when you're saying about the game you go back to all the time, I mean, being up here, I wouldn't say I'll go back to them, but it's games that I think I'll go back to that and I play that, because they are games that you go back and play. And I think we're still on the subject of the ZX Spectrum, we are, and it's called Renegade. And I was gutted with this game because on the 48K you only had, is it 5 levels, and on the 128K you had the music in the game, and you had the an extra stage, level 6 I think. It was a blue screen with a big people coming at you and everything, but it didn't affect us too much. But when I found out, an old schoolmate of mine, Gavin, had the 128K, and Steve had the 128K as well, and my cousin had the 128K. So there's me on the 48K with not the extra level. But again, the artwork on Renegade is so iconic. It is. I look at it and it makes me want to play it. It does, because you know, you only had games like Double Dragon, and Double Dragon on the Spectrum, and I think the only decent port was on the Mega Drive. But the Spectrum, the Amiga, the ST, it was just terrible. And when you look at it, like the Amiga version was just exactly the same port as the ST. I don't think there was anything added. It was just like a straight port. So when you got Renegade, and it links to like Target Renegade as well, it was one of them games that I would say I'd go back to, because it's not difficult to explain, but you know, you want to get through the level, and then when you can punch them in the face when they're laying down and you see the little stars going around on their heads, it's just Renegade, isn't it? You know, it's just it's just brilliant. So moving on to, I think that's the only Spectrum lot that I've got. But another one is Ridge Racer on the PlayStation. And with Ridge Racer, you've got the Gallagher game at the beginning, and then you can get the pink car, I think it is, or the multicolored car. It's pink car, isn't it? And then you're beating your laps, like your lap scores and everything. And then you race the car and you learn how to skid round the corners. Excuse me. So, what else? The music as well. Again, music. I couldn't say too much about Renegade because I didn't have the music in the game. It's only the 48K. Well, 128K, sorry. But Ridge Racer, I used to play, and that was Free Rally, that was. But you can stick your own music in Ridge Racer. And then on my CD, I've got like Ridge Racer tunes. I'll have to have a look what's on there. I'll have to. It wasn't long ago because it's printed. It is. But yeah, just the fact of like racing around the track, and then I think Ridge Racer Revolution, wasn't it? You complete it on the, or it might be in Ridge Racer, you complete it and you go backwards, like round the track sort of thing. But again, it's another pick up and play. Is Ridge Racer, and you can sit there and play it, like the circuits and everything, and then you get just drawn into it, and it's like you know, you get the commentary and it says, you know, this is the final lap, hang in there, and then you've got just, oh, what was it, something about you got to keep up with me or something, and it just like as it goes at you, and you know, you just want to continue playing it just to shut him up. But I'll say I'll go back to it, because when I've got the PlayStation on over there, it's just another pick up and play game, which I'll go back to, because you can sit there. When Luke was younger, you know, when he's playing The Crew 2 or something, I don't know what he was playing at the time, and I said, look, you know, have a go at this. And he sat there, and you've got that tunnel as well, and you've got the echo through your ears, and it's like that. And it's just little ads in the game that keeps you, you know, wants to come back for more. And again, it's a game that I keep coming back to. It is. So I think we're moving right over to one of my favourite systems, and that's of course the Amiga. I don't know why I've put them like this way, I don't know, but haven't got this original. I haven't, because I do things like this. So what date? 24th of the 12th to 1995. 4 discs. I think it's, yeah, 4 discs. And that's Project X. Project X. It's a lot of shooters I'm choosing, racing and beat 'em ups. But Project X, again, Alistair Pinball, Team 17. And then it's the speech, the sound, everything about that game was just like an arcade. Learning like patterns again in how they move. Like at the beginning level, you got that big thing that goes round, and you got, you know, you got like, you're there and it goes round like that, and you got to follow it round and shoot it, and then you got like guns, power up, and then you've got like stealth on, and you've got the bees on the second level going bzzz. It was just so atmospheric. And why I go back to it is because, again, the music at the start of it, when you like enter your high scores in, just the whole game is just mind blowing. It is, and especially like coming from like a Spectrum or something, or the Master System, and you hear like speech in games. I just love, I do, you know, because you never had that. RoboCop was one on the Spectrum that had like sound effects, and Mission Impossible, or possible Mission Impossible, isn't it? I always get that one confused. If it's Mission Impossible or Impossible Mission. Mission Impossible. Oh yeah. But Mission Impossible. I've done it. I've messed up, haven't I? But yeah, on the C64, that was great speech. That was Jay and Steve both had the C64, and I was a little bit gutted about that, having the Spectrum, but nevertheless, but the Amiga, it was, you know, it was just so much to it. And why I go back to it is because it's a challenging game. You had Alien Breed, Project X Special Edition 93. That was a lot easier, but I enjoyed that probably better. But Project X is the original one, and it gave, as I said, you know, with the music and the graphics and everything, it was just great. It was, it's the only, you know, it was just brilliant. And it's difficult, that's what I mean, it's difficult to say why I go back to it and why you like it and it's your favourite game. So tricky, but again, you can just put it on, listen to the music at the start, and just, you know, just have a blast on it. Have a blast. So the next one I've got is, I thought I had this original, but I can't see it. I'm pretty sure I did, but it's Lotus 2, and I had to copy this again because I've got reload kick. I've got a reload kick for the 1200s. I still had the 600, but I was more playing the 1200 when I got the 1200. So all the discs I went through, labelling up, reload kick, won't work, not compatibility, 600. So I recopied this again on the 6th of the 12th, 94. And I know it's my original disc because I wrote turpentine on the back of it for some reason. Obviously that's a cheat code when you key in and you get like infinite time. I think that's what it is, infinite time. Because we managed to complete it. It's the only way you can sort of do it unless you're really good. Nearly there. I think I got to pea soup, which is like the snow level, But again, Lotus 2, the music at the start of it, the lights, the pop-up headlights, and it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off, another great film that I really enjoyed. I did. I won't talk about that film too much, but we rented it out, me and my mate Dave, and I don't know if I rented it or he rented it out. And when we got it home, and I don't know if I rented it out with my mum and dad, but I was coughing all the time. They like said a rude word, so I was coughing all the time to cover it up that I wasn't allowed to watch films with swearing in it. But yeah, anyway, it was just funny. It was. But Lotus 2, as I said, it's the beginning. It's one of the first games I had when I bought the 500, with the story behind that going wrong, and I didn't hear the sound that well because the phono ports on the back of it was broken on it. But again, you can just pick up the game and it goes marks, set, go, and you felt like you was driving a car with the gears and everything. Lotus 3 wasn't, it was good, but Lotus 2, and you got again, like, I mean, the reason why I chose Ridge Racer and I should have bung this one in next, it's because it's very similar. Again, like I'm saying about the tunnels, and you go through the tunnels and you hear that echo and everything, especially on the speakers, and you hear the echo. And when you scrape the paintwork, another mate away, my mate ways from school, and we was playing it around Dave's, and he goes, like, I've just had that paintwork, I've just had it resprayed, sort of thing, and you hear the crunch noise. Oh, it's just, and 2-player split screen. I mean, it's endless with Lotus 2. I could have chose Stunt Car Racer because they're both not similar, but Stunt Car Racer and Lotus 2 hooked up 2 Amigas, 2 screens, and you're sitting like next to one another, or like 2 screens either side. And me and Steve did that because I had a big Philips TV, hence why the remote control sitting here, and I had the monitor there as well. And he was on the left and I was sitting there, and I could sort of glance at him. But having 2 screens on serial link playing Lotus 2, because in 2-player mode it's split, but when you have like a serial link connected to it, I think skid marks as well, and then I think wings, or what was it? It's one of the flight sims as well you could do. I think it was wings, and there's probably other ones as well, but I'm not on about like serial links. But as I said, why I go back to it, it's because I think it's just memories of playing it, and like, you know, different times in 96, 97, when we still using the Amiga, you know, after a car boot, picking up games, and just like Lotus 2, you just pick it up, and you know, that's when I had the 600, I might have been the 500 connected up, and then Steve was round and we was just playing Lotus 2, and you got the cheats as well. I think there's Carnival as well you key in, and you got that little bonus game as well. And was it Lotus that when it said don't copy this or something right at the beginning of when you load it up, something like that? I think that's what it says. But you know, going back to why I go back to it, it's because it's, as I said, it's been with us for so long. Lotus 2, Dave, you know, we had it, was playing it before I got the Amiga, and you know, when you load it up, having the Lotuses, the LAN spree, with their pop-up headlights, you know, and then trying to get through the game, and the hills. When you go up in the hills, it's like Enduro Racer. Even Enduro Racer on the Spectrum, I'm looking over, see if you can go over, you know, see if you can see over the hill. But then it goes down, and it just felt real at that time. You know, like I'm driving a car, because you've got the gears like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and not just like Outrun or something where you've got like low and high gear. You actually got gears, and you got to justify it, sort of thing. Same as that's what I mean. I'm like Ridge Racer, I'm just comparing them, even though completely different games on different systems. Alright, I think I said about Lotus. I think I said enough about Lotus 2, I think. So I'm going to put that down. The next one is Turrican 2. Again, not original. It goes for so much money now, Turrican 2. I think I've got the first one, but I ain't got the case. I think I've got the inlay and the disc. But Turrican 2, 30th, I don't know how well this is picking up, but the 30th of the 8th, 92, I'm going to cough again. So Lotus 2, Turrican 2. Again, I'm repeating myself, but the music, I test my sound system with Turrican 2. The intro, Chris Huckenberg, music at the start, and you hear it. Turrican, the original, said "Welcome to Turrican," but Turrican 2 just had the start up, that dun 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 dun, and then you see the logo and everything, and it draws you in, because it was one of them games that was, I wouldn't say, it's got nothing to do with Sonic, but when you can jump on the enemies and everything and you roll, it's totally different. But having the Amiga and having Turrican 2 was, you know, it was a platform that sort of the consoles got later on, even though I don't think they was that good. I mean, Universal Soldier, wasn't it, on the Mega Drive, and it was just a rehashed Turrican 2 without a good soundtrack. And I think the Super NES had something, I can't think, top of my head. But the final fight on Turrican 2, why is it a game that I keep going back to? It's because, again, it's like Project X. It's, you know, when you collect the little the power-ups like bounce, laser, 1-up, and the spaceship level, and you're going through it, and it's a game that you can just play because of the music in the game. You know, right from the start and the intro, right up till like the end. Chris Huckenberg did an amazing job on that soundtrack for Turrican 2. Same as Apodiah, and what's the other ones top of my head that he's done? I can't think top of my head now. It will come to me. It will. But Turrican 2, it is, and again, you can have the auto fire on instead of like keep tapping the button all the time. I think you can, no, when you hold down the fire button, isn't it, you get that thing that goes round like that, and you thingy it. The only annoying thing is about it is that you've got to hit the space bar, but if you've got a 2-button like joystick, like a Master System or a Mega Drive pad, you can push the C or the A or the B button, one of them, because that's classed as the space bar. So that was quite handy. But stick when I'm playing that, and it's, you know, you're sitting there playing it and you've got to hit the space bar button. It's not that much annoying, but it would have been nice to somehow hold down and like for 2 secs, but then again you need that time to roll or do that mega thing that goes like left and right. I'm trying to think, like, cause there's so much about Turrican 2. There is. Just a quick story. We was basically meet Jay, and he had his like Amiga in his garage at one point. He did, and was round there, and he had to do some chores in the house. And I had Tony, Dave, and I think Fishel at the time, and we went round Jay's, and Jay was busy. He said, no, we can't play today, you know, I've got to do this. So we popped round mine. I had the 600, and I said, well, what are we going to do? And everyone's like, it's like the Three Eagles sitting in the Jungle Book. I don't know, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know. So I said, well, we're just going to go around Jay's house and play Turrican 2. So, you know, we'll take it in turns and we'll play Turrican 2 then. And it's like, yeah, all right then, we'll play that. So a couple of them had a go on it, and I think they got to like, I can't think now, like level 3, level 2. And I thought, you know, me being me, I let them play it, and then I jump on, and I completed it. It was like, you know, you saw like the shit going through, and all the credits went up, and it's just like, I've just done Turrican 2, and I didn't set out to complete it. It just, you know, I just played as I would and ended up completing it. It was just crazy. But I love that story, I do, because it's just something memorable when we couldn't go around someone else's house, and if I stayed there and used his machine, I might not have actually completed it that day. So it's really weird. It is. But Tailcon 2, just absolutely incredible. It is. I'm going to leave this one because I can't think if I've counted like 10 games or something, and I am rattling on about these games. As I said, I could talk about these all day long. I could. So the next one I'm going to choose is Swiv, and these games repeat is the music at the beginning of Swiv. I mean, I'm just trying to say it in my head. It starts off like broom, broom, and it goes dun 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 like that, and dun 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 dun, and it just, you know, and you're looking at it. I think Jazz Rignall was on it as well. You had the little like cartoon characters on the tops, sort of thing. I'm pretty sure it was him. Top of my head, thinking about it. And the title screen that comes up, it's like Big Run as well. That music as well, Big Run. But I'm not choosing that. That's not it. But again, it's another shoot 'em up game. 2 players, fantastic with a mate. It's just annoying if you're using the Jeep. It is, because when you're the helicopter, you get so much better gameplay on that. You do with the Jeep. You're sort of running about and everything, and it's great. But personally, the helicopter is just a lot better. It is. But the power ups, the explosions, the boom noises in your speakers when you like get the little circle thing like in Silkworm, and it blows up all the enemies on the screen at once. It was just fantastic. It is. And why do I keep going back to it? Why do I go back to it? It's because, again, I played it years ago. When I talked about this 500 video, it was Swiv and Lotus I was playing, because that's the only 2 games that I had. I think we had Jaguar, but I didn't buy the discs and, you know, copies, because I would have done, but it was within a week that machine went back. I think it's within a week. But Swiv, it's just a really tough like game that gives you that feedback of I want to get past that level. And the good thing is about it, it loads as it's rolling, so it's like rolls and it doesn't stop, so it continuously like plays. Was sort of, I guess it was evolutionary at the time to have it loading and playing, like, you know, so it's just a fluid gameplay. But going back to, you know, why do I go back to it? I just don't want to repeat myself in what I've been saying for the last, like, all these games. There's no speech in it. That's not, I think that would be great if it could, but Swiv, I'm slowly getting out of breath, I am, and I'm caught this one up. I have. Right, what I meant to say was, I wasn't out of breath. I didn't have a drink, and I totally run out of air. I was chatting away, and I sort of froze for half a minute. I hate doing jump cuts, but that the video was like, I couldn't do any better. I couldn't. I swapped things up a little bit. I've got Tailcon 2 playing music, because it's one of the best tracks in it. So I was chatting about Swiv. So I'm going to move swiftly on from Swiv, alright, before I end up getting a bit more out of breath. I will. So I'm moving on to the next one, and there's a few games out of here. There is. One's I mentioned, but we didn't play that one that much. We didn't. But these are Pinball Dreams, and I'm going to get buried with games here. Pinball Fantasies. Now Pinball, it blew me away. It did. Dave had it, Steel Wheel and Nightmare. Then Ignition and then Beatbox was all the games that we was playing. And then when I finally got the 600, it's crazy. I hope it's behind me because it should be behind me. It should be, but I'll go into that in a sec. But my mum and dad, my mum absolutely loved Pinball Dreams and Steel Wheel. Every time I went round my cousin's house, Gary, she was just playing it. And then I was telling her to, when I got back from my cousins, and I got loads of discs and games and stuff, and then she was still on it, and I had to try and get rid of her. And crazy enough, another world I had the first time I got out of bed early for school, and I said, Mum, I really want to play this game. And I think that was the main reason why I got out of bed so early for school to play that. But it was the scores. That was the fantastic part of that. It was looking at the scores and then trying to beat your mum and dad at the game. Pinball Dreams on the 1200 was iffy. It was, because sometimes you got a game that sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but sometimes it didn't save the scores, and it was so awkward. It was. I borrowed a few versions of like Fish and a few other people as well, because he had a 500 pack or something or another, and it just wouldn't work. It would load up, then it would just crash out. Then we had the 1200 HD like hard drive version of it, and was playing with that. And then it just wasn't the same as the 600 version. It wasn't, with the loading screen, the Barry Simpson music coming up and the titles. I'll move on to a bit about that with Fantasies. But, you know, Pinball Dreams, it was like one of the first, like, well, they call it a pinball simulator. You had Pinball Magic on the Spectrum. You had a few on the Mega Drive, but Pinball Dreams it was a magical game. It was. And Pinball Fantasies was Partyland. My mum played that to death, and my dad was playing Stones and Bones. And again, you know, if you saw the names like ADZ popping up before I changed it over for Tarakan, and I was trying to beat them, but the annoying thing is about this game, it doesn't like the Blizzard that I've got in there. The JAWS GVP worked fine, but for some reason when I got the Blizzard it wouldn't load up, and I had all the high scores saved and everything. And it's weird because the game was power packed and you had to unpower pack the disc, and I noticed it because in the description on one of the files it said PP prefs, and I'm thinking that stands for power packer, doesn't it? So I loaded up power packer, decrunched it, got it configured, but you have to disable the accelerator card. That doesn't give you the 4 meg chip memory, fast memory, to play it. And you've got to disable the whole thing. And because you can't run it from the hard drive, and when it does run from the hard drive, it freezes. As soon as you boot the ball up to the middle of the screen, like on Partyland for instance, it will just freeze and it will just crash out, flashy light, turns off, error message. But I managed to get it working. That's one of the reasons why this video is taking so long, because I just didn't know how to do it, and I managed to do it. It took like a week and a half, I think, of being up here in the cold trying to figure it out. But why do I go back to it? As I mentioned, the high scores, trying to beat them scores again, and it's the addiction. It has got that one more go. I'm going to beat that score. I'm going to do it. And then when you finally enter your name at the end and you think I've beaten like my mum and dad, it's just that feeling of a high score. You know, when you do a high score. Yeah, when you do a high score and you beat them. Words getting confused. But Pinball Dreams, Fantasies, and as I said, Pinball Illusions still is a fantastic game, but it just didn't have that feel to it, even though I really enjoyed like all of them. Slam Tilt even. I'm not sure if I've got Slam Tilt. I think I have. but I'm not 100% sure. But Fantasies and Dreams were just the first 2 games that was just truly amazing. This is what I should have done before the jump cut. I'll tell you what, talking, it just does your, you know, you just get dry throat. That's what I meant to say, dry throat. So we're nearly done. We're in the last game. And some people was going to say, well, you know, kick off, spoil it now. But I mean, sensible soccer. Sensible world of soccer. The reason why, because they're still making it today. They are. There's updates, there's new teams, there's new fixtures. When we do Retcon, people are playing it. I bring my 1200 down there and there's 2 joysticks. Even someone battered me, I think it was like 4-0 or something, 4-1. I think he was letting me off. I can't remember the fella's name. And then there was another place where was at, and he added me on Discord for updates sort of thing. But the other reason why, this is going to repeat this music, the other reason why is because the management side of things, where you could build up your team and work back down from like an Indian like side and build yourself up to the Premier League. I did it, but because at the time 96, 97, I met Elaine and we was going out, but John, Mike and Dave, stories about them 3 lads and popping around my house in the summer, and then we're just sitting there playing sensible soccer like the whole of 96, like summertime. And it was just amazing times. And then August, that was between like July, June, halfway around June, July. And I met Elaine in August, and she was there, and it was like mates and Sensi and going out, and just incredible times. That was magical times. But as I said, they're still producing Sensi now. They are. There's a new version out, 23, 24, with new teams, and it's always been updated on the hard drive. As soon as I see it, you know, it's been put on there. Not playing it as much, but that's because I'm up here and it's cold and it's hot. Forget all that. But sensible world of soccer, what a game! I mean, 2 floppy disks with all them teams on it, and the title music. Your goals, no, what was it? Your goals superstar hero. Oh, I can't remember the rest. But John Hare and the team, you know, it's just amazing. I mean, as I said, I've waffled on far too long. I have about these games, and I don't know how long the video is. I don't really care. But it's been a pleasure to chat about these games. It has. And there's probably loads more I could have mentioned, you know, the hints of like Syndicate, Settlers, Dune, Monkey Island, Outrun on the Master System. You know, these are games that, as I said, it's really difficult to say why you play them, because it's nostalgia, or it's just, but it is the games that I would load up and think, I want a game of that. I always go back to. It's the games that I always go back to. And as I said, there's probably hundreds of other ones, but these are the ones that I can talk about and wanted to talk about, because there's memories, there's feelings behind the games. And I think really, if I say any more, I think that will be it. But all I'm going to say is cheers James, and cheers Alfred for tagging me. I've really enjoyed doing this. I have, and I really would like to do more. Enough said about that. I think. Now I've got to put this all back. So, as everyone says, there will be links to Alfred, as known as feedmechicken, and James. Talking of James, because I had a bit of time to sort this out, I stuck it under the games. You can still see me. Just, oh. But this is what I was chatting about, the telephone, busubi, these. And I don't know if anyone will remember this, but it's like the BT telephone, these. And it should be still there. And there's no instructions, but I don't think you need instructions. Anyway, just a little bonus sort of thing. I'll bring it out. It's still got the little dial thing on there, and then you I haven't used this for years. There's a little button and a little turny thing that clicks back. So I'm going to say cheers for watching. Good night. What I did forget is that it was this. So what it is a disc like protector lock. It's a disc lock, that's what it is. So I don't know if you can see, but you put it in the disc like that and you lock it, if you can do it right. So you slide it in, you turn it up, and it's not working for some reason, unless you put it, it doesn't go down. See, hold on, try and get this right. But you're supposed to lock, and I can't do it for some reason, unless it goes upside down that way. I think it probably goes the other way. Yeah, there you go. So you can't, if I zoom in a little bit, I don't know if I can bring it down without, hold on, this is pretty amateur stuff, but yeah, you can't get anything in there that's like solid in there. So that's what I was saying, is that there's a little disc lock, and then you just you just twist it and it comes back out. Ooh, close up. But yeah, that's what it is. It's a little disc lock. It is. Anyway, I'll add that back on. I will. Again, cheers for watching. Good night.